Steve, Dichroic Glassman here on YouTube. Talking about in the previous video, just going to elaborate on it, bring it back up to speed. There's no way of doing a perfect dichroic bevel right now as far as it goes. I do have a plan in the mix working with CBFs to develop that perfect bevel. And we're very close to having that bevel. That it can't be scratched. And it's going to be cheaper than the only method that is available, called dichroic lamination. And we're soon to arriving at that invention, so to speak. Getting back to the previous, dichro on top, which is the only bevel available, dichroic wise. It's coated on the top. It doesn't come with dotted lines. It doesn't come in black. Dichro is dichro, all the colors, as you know. I did this simply as a sample to show that the dichroic that is available now is only coated on the table, which is the flat spot on the top of the bevel. It's not feasible. It's not realistic. People don't like dichroic when it comes to the surface, like these. A lot of people don't like that. Jewelry people have a hard time selling dichroic pieces where it's not capped. We call it capped, where the dichro is on the top. A lot of people want to go like this and say, is that real? Is that foil? So us in the jewelry cabochon business, we know what that means when the people talk that way. So a lot of people put clear caps on the top to create the dichroic effect. That's the beauty of dichro, is getting this layered look. So to me, dichro on the top is self-defeating. I would rather see the bevel upside down. I would rather see the dichro on the bottom so that I can get the depth effect that dichro surely is noted for, like in this case. That's dichro on the bottom. This is my invention, or innovation. I don't want to say invention. Innovation. Dichro on the bottom is not feasible because it's going to scratch. There's just no way around it. Once a stained glass person goes through the mechanics of letting this up or putting it into a stained glass window, by the time the whole window is done, it's virtually impossible to come out of this with any sort of perfect bevel without it being scratched up to smithereens. All the fusing people already know this, that if you slide your glass across anything, it's going to get ripped up. But we don't care, because once it's fused, it's all healing, because the kiln heals it. Not in this case. There's no heat applied. The other way is dichro laminated, where the dichroic is put on underneath in such a way that you cannot touch the dichro and scratch it. The trade-off is I have to grind the edges. This is a raw cabochon. Trying to get a zoom on it. And I have to tool this. I have to grind the edges so that when you get it, it's nice and smooth, as in this case. Let's see. Here you go. I have to grind the edges. The trade-off is when I grind the edge, there's going to be some chipping. And I'm using brand new bits. I'm using a high-quality grinding system, flat disc grinder, and a drum standard grinder, such as the Inland Wizard or the Glass Star All-Star. So that's the trade-off. And I do want to explain that once I chip those edges, I'm showing you here is a copper foiled one that you can't see the chipped edges. They simply cover right up with the copper foil. I just want to be explanatory in that if a person gets one of my bevels and they see the edges, here's a beveled star, dichroic star. And if they see the little chipped edges, they think that that's disappointing. It all gets covered up with copper foil if you go that method, and it gets covered up with lead if you're going to go that method. So all is well. I just want to show you that it's impossible to get a dichroic bevel perfect that will not be scratched. There's some sort of trade-off. On the top, you're paying for a loaf of bread and getting one slice. On the bottom, you cannot even go like this with a dichroic bevel if it was coated on the bottom and you turned it over without a scratch. It's impossible. It's only 18 millionths of an inch, 18 microns. The only other way is to dichroic laminate, and you cannot touch the dichro. It's on the inside. And when you get the bevel, and if it looks chipped to you and you think, well, that's a problem, it's not. The lead will cover that edge, and so will the copper foil. And I can even prove it in my introductory offer. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this yet, where I'm going to sell 2 bevels, one copper foiled and one not. I'm not sure yet. I'm all new to this as well, but I just want to explain that there's no possible way. You can even see here, these edges are barely chipped. They cover up very nicely with the copper foil or the lead. I have to hand grind, with the grinder of course, brand new bits, every bevel, unless you told me I didn't have to. So that's the trade-off, folks. There is no other way. However, Howard at CBS, the engineer, and I are working on a new technique. Something brand new, never been introduced in the marketplace, and it may fly. We're a month away from checking this out. So I'd be very excited to tell you at that time if we do come up with this new technology for a dichroic bevel that should be cheap and should be safe to use. Right now, there's nothing in the stained glass industry other than a bevel that's coated on the top, as little as 1/9 of the surface area. And you're paying a huge price. You're paying $2.10 for a bevel like this to be coated. Again, it does not come with lines, simply for my purpose of showing you that if you drew the line straight across, you're only getting 1/9 of the bevel. The bevel cost is $1.20. You minus that out, do the math. Take $2.10 minus $1.20. You're paying 90 cents for that spot, every spot. The equivalent when that bevel is done is you're paying $9.20 for that bevel, for the dichro and the bevel cost. That should be $1.20. Sorry about that. This would be $9.30. That's staggering. When I propose to sell these now laminated, that I guarantee you will be nearly 100% satisfied. There will always be somebody that it will not work for. You'll always have the picky person. I want to assure you, by the way, that when you buy bevels, new in the box, they come wrapped up like this, not like this. But when you get them, I have had bevels chipped, broke, and scratched. I do want to assure you that as you buy bevels in this manner, right here, I've been doing bevels for almost 20 years. When I unwrap this, invariably, there can be, I'm not a guarantee, there can be chipped, broke, or scratched bevels. It is not necessarily me and my process that is chipping, scratching, breaking bevels. This is the way they're coming. When you buy them, you get 30 in a box. 30 pieces. This is how almost all bevels are sold when you buy them in bulk. And yes, they can still be chipped, broke, or scratched. Same with faceted jewels. Same thing. Many times you'll see a little corner dinged. So this is not a first. I've been doing stained glass for almost 20 years, and I've known many people. I know distributors. I know the owners of several of the distributors. I know Mr. Hoy, Ed Hoy's International, and other people. Big deal. Not trying to throw a ego thing on here. I'm just saying that I've been around distributors and know this, and other people who have done bevels for years know this as well, that some bevel clusters even that you could pay good money for could have a scratched bevel. Generally, we'll turn the bevel in and get replacement, but it goes without saying there is no such thing as the perpetual perfect bevel coming unscratched, unchipped, or unbroken. Somewhere along the line, you're going to get one or a lot of them. It's just the nature. These are cheap. Buying a bevel is cheap. The 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch is a 65-cent bevel. What do you want? So it's just the trade-off. Just trying to be realistic about this. There's only 3 ways of approaching the dichroic bevel. On the top, on the bottom, which is going to get scratched, or the dichro laminated, which is the perfect dichroic application. There is nothing better yet until we're done, hopefully, with the perfect dichroic application. Till then, I've got some incredible opportunities of dichroic that I can almost guarantee you'll be happy with. But I can't guarantee everybody will be, because it's an impossibility. There's always somebody that can't be satisfied. That's just the way it goes. We all know that. We've all heard those stories. So I just want to be realistic about this dichroic, because I'm getting ready to start producing the prices. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.